Well, that's what I love about the show is that we get to have our most favoritist people and human beings in this office, in the studio, underneath the spotlights. And today is no exception because we have the one, the only, Miss Christina Hudson.
The crowd goes wild.
That's right, Signature Spotlight Studio Series. That's a mouthful. I think we're going to have to rename it because there's a lot of S's, and I just mix it up every time.
Yep.
Hi, Signature. It's me, John Butler, bald guy in the red tie. And the cackling you hear is Miss Susan Ebert, our fearless leader and broker extraordinaire. Hi, Susan.
Hi, John Butler. How are you today?
I'm good. Any time that we're in the studio together is a good time.
I think so, too.
'Cause it's fun.
Yep, it is fun.
But it's going to be really fun because you know why?
I know.
This is one of our favorite humans.
I know it.
She's kind of like the glue that keeps this office together.
She makes life fun, too.
Yeah. She's fun to talk to.
She is.
And we're going to talk to you today, Christina.
We're talking to you.
We know I love this stuff.
So for those who don't know,
she loves this stuff.
yeah.
My hands are creating a pool.
Yeah. Christina is a behind-the-scenes kind of personality type. Fair enough. And so when we put spotlights and cameras on her, 3 cameras to be exact, she's not really in her element, but she's doing fantastic. She's just smile, say watermelon.
Watermelon.
Okay.
That's how we do it.
But for reals, though, we are here to talk to you today because you've had an extraordinary career in real estate. And we want to talk about that today because you are one of the glue pieces that holds this whole office together because you wear multiple hats. So we're going to kind of dig into your backstory here and show the world all that you are.
Okay.
It's an expose. We're exposing you.
How long exactly have you been doing real estate?
I've had my license for 6 years, but really active only about 3.
3. And then so you're currently with the Sean McCann team, is that right?
I am.
Awesome.
I am the Sean McCann team.
The #1 team member every month. Is that right?
Just kidding. We have an amazing lady with us also, Sharice.
That's cool. And so why did you get...
Save.
It was like a fumble. Ah, got it. All right, good. So how did you get into real estate in the first place 6 years ago?
Oh, gosh. I'm going to cry.
Okay, good. We like tears.
Don't mess up your makeup. It's not worth it.
I went and bought more, so I'll be okay.
Okay.
So my husband and I went through a short sale, 2012. There's certain times in your life where, God puts you on a path where you're supposed to go.
Yep.
So through that, I had an amazing real estate agent who, at a time like our business, this is so stupid. Oh my God. Okay, so our business was getting restructured because the crash, and we were doing track work. So we were restructuring our business, gearing towards commercial. We had a house that was messed up with one of those loans that everybody enjoyed back then.
You get one of those adjustable rate ones?
Yeah. So we decided we were going to do a short sale. And at a time where it was kind of scary, didn't really know what was going on, I met an amazing lady who came alongside with me through the short sale process and made something that could have been real scary, just pretty cool. And I looked at her at the end and I'm like, I want to come alongside people and be in their lives in that way. And I'm like, I think God wants me to get my real estate license.
Aww.
Do not air that. I need to take 2.
No, that's beautiful. That's actually
so
great for ratings.
True story.
Was she your agent?
No.
No, not me.
Okay.
No. Just one of the steps I needed to meet Susan Ebert. So I didn't know it at the time, but he was preparing me for much more than just a short sale and becoming an agent. So
it's funny and beautiful how God will allow things to kind of crumble sometimes. And we look at the crumbled pieces and we go, oh my gosh, why did this happen? And we beat ourselves up and we have all that kind of that journey of shame and whatnot. But then we get a little bit further past that and we look back and you're like, oh, thank God you did that, because it sets you on the path with beautiful people like Susan Ebert.
I like to tell my kids it doesn't make sense until it makes sense.
So true.
Sometimes you just don't know.
It's one of those stitch points in the tapestry of life.
Yeah. So I just honestly wanted to come alongside people, whether it's real estate's difficult for some people.
Yeah.
Divorce or death or whatever.
Yeah.
First-time home buyers, that's exciting. Those are always fun, but it's not always fun and it's not always easy.
Yeah.
And so I truly love coming alongside people and just being that for them.
So you really have that sympathy and empathy for people going through a tough time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Well,
that's
people going through anything through life.
Yeah.
I just like being around people.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I open the show up with, is that you're one of the fun people to talk to. Like, we've had our conversations out in the the brokerage lobby and stuff.
When
and
I don't cry. Yeah.
It's
the cameras.
You're not stressed out. Yeah.
It's only going to be seen by like 1 million people, so don't worry
That's
about
okay.
it. Yeah.
Well, I have a personal goal this year, and it's to work on that part of my personality
Mhm.
because I hate it.
Mhm.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And it gets the best of me every time.
Yeah.
So, personal goal.
Well, you're doing it. You're in front of the cameras now.
Yay. You want to know how I discovered I had it?
Huh.
When I graduated high school, they asked me to talk in front of the class. I was second in my class. There was only 50, so not that impressive. But they asked me to talk in front of my class. And so I'm like, yeah, sure. So I prepared this speech. I had some quote by Amelia Earhart. Don't remember what it was. And I got up there, and I stood in front of the podium, and I cried. Didn't even know it was going to happen. But I talked the whole time. But you could understand me. So I talked through this entire speech, cried in front of everybody. And ever since then, it's like,
Never want to do it.
no. I don't understand where it even came from. Didn't even know
And
I
it's
had
so
it.
funny because she's so good just having a conversation or being on the phone or with a client or in the office. Like, it doesn't, and I guess that's why I love putting you on the spot. I actually feel bad because I look at her like nothing's wrong and everything's fine because outside of this, everything is just so normal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't want to make you cry today.
It's okay. I'm over it now. It's
Okay.
just when I get nervous. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like I'd like
Yeah.
to retell my story because without the crying, because people need to see that. Like, you don't ever want anybody to see you're vulnerable, right?
Aw.
Well, there is a beauty in vulnerability, though.
Yeah, there is.
Absolutely. And I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of people in this office that look to you as a leader. And sometimes it's nice to know that those leaders, we all have our moments. So, you're
We
awesome.
do.
So how did you meet this wonderful lady to the left of you here then?
Well, I went through 4 brokerages. I didn't do anything. I just kind of hopped around, figured out where I was going to fit. And a friend of mine, Angie Palacios,
Uh-huh.
was like, you got to meet Susan. You'll love her. And so I walked into Exit, and Susan didn't have time to interview me. And so I got interviewed by
Another
person at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But I absolutely fell in love with everything about her energy, obviously her love for the Lord. It's where I needed to be. Again, just one of those stepping stones for what was about to happen in my life.
Yeah, yeah.
And hasn't been the same since.
And that's one of the things about meeting Susan, and that's why I always like to know those how did you meet Susan stories, because you change people's lives, Susan. You really do.
She really does.
And you have that ability to put people on a different path. I don't know what you're doing with your eyes, but it's creeping me out, though.
That man, stop talking about me.
Oh, okay.
It was one of the first boot camp classes, and she looked at me, and she doesn't even remember saying this. She looked at me, it was after, and we were in one of our conversations, one of many after, and she says, a lot of people come and go in real estate, but I really hope that you stay because you're going to be really good at it.
Yeah. I am very guilty of sizing people up in those first couple shots. I have gotten some wrong, but most of the ones that I look at and I go, oh yeah, it wouldn't matter where she really was.
Yeah.
You always pay me nice compliments and stuff, but there's the people out there that really, no matter where they were going to do this and do it right. And she was one of them. I was judging, condemning, and sizing her up all in.
I passed the test.
And she passed. Flying colors.
So you actually joined Exit during the Exit days, because for those who don't know, Susan used to own an Exit brokerage and whatnot, and then in 2015 you started this new venture and journey and chapter, and then so you were coming over a part of that transition team?
I was part of Exit. I did my first 3 deals there, and then I remember looking at my paycheck going, this is all bad. And the day that she called me was the day I was going to have the conversation with her, and she called me.
Oh, wow.
She sent out a non-disclosure, gave me a phone call, and was like, this is what I'm doing. And I'm like, there's the Lord again. Putting me exactly where I need to be, and haven't even looked back since.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've moved signature a lot of times.
Well, and so for those who don't know, Christina is the one that climbs on roofs, hangs signs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, your guys' like partnership is very interesting to me because you guys lean on each other for a lot of things as an equal partnership, and it's a beautiful thing to watch because I think she comes up with the crazy ideas, and you're like, all right, let's do it.
It's so true. She is my hands and feet. So the weekend we had to move out of the old building, and we had to move into the temporary building that's in this parking lot.
Right.
We just really stayed awake, and
just did
like
it.
it was us. I
Yep.
think there were a few people who came and helped, but I'm pretty sure it was
5
you.
o'clock, everybody was gone.
And we just stayed. And there's the Jameson. Here's the other stuff. We're gonna stay awake. No, not really. We didn't do any drugs that were illegal. And I'm telling you, that weekend we turned and we took that old office and we turned this little place into an office space. And on Monday morning, everything was up and running. It was decorated and totally working. And I couldn't. She was like moving file cabinets and stuff. And I'm like, I love you, man.
Well, to you, it was real important that by Monday, your
Yeah.
agents had a place to go and
Yeah.
a place to
Yeah.
work and a place that they felt comfortable. You did not want anybody to feel that transition.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. And so she's always my savior. She comes and helps me do the stuff. She helps me move boxes. She would change the oil in my car, I think, if I needed it. Oh, I'm so thankful. Because she's strong.
Me too.
Yeah, she's strong.
That's the thing that I've always gotten from you is that you're the jack of all trades. Like I could see you changing your own oil or doing something like that.
Well, if I needed to get it done.
Yeah.
just gotta
Can
get
we
it done.
put boxes on all the air conditioning covers? Oh, yeah. She comes in next day. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, thank you. Oh, I can depend on her for all of that stuff. It's nice to have someone to depend on like that.
Yeah.
You know? And talk about our family life a little bit, because that's always fun.
Well, that's usually your department, so go for it.
I always start with, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite color?
Depends on my mood.
Really? If you're in a
Always.
good mood?
If I'm in a good mood, probably like a fun little turquoise.
Okay.
If I'm feeling feisty, red.
I was going to say Tiffany blue. The little teal is always in a good mood. That'll put you in a good mood. Okay, favorite food? Like Mexican, Italian?
Well, always tacos. But everybody says tacos now. But I've said tacos my whole life, so I feel like I get the...
You can answer that.
Yeah, before tacos were fad, I love tacos.
And
I
we
love tacos.
we
I
go
love
get tacos together.
Yeah.
Do you want to go get a taco? Yes. I want to go get a taco. Favorite child? No, not really. You can't answer that.
She was about to answer though. She's like, I know which one.
I have a favorite Trevor, and I have a favorite Vance, and I have a favorite Ace, and I have a favorite Kyle, and a favorite Drake, and a favorite Kayla.
And the hits just keep coming. Does she look old enough to have done all that work? Okay, so how many kids do you have?
Well, I have 3 that I've given birth to, and then I have 2 amazing stepsons, and then an amazing daughter-in-law that are all still my kids. Even though Dad and I are divorced, they're still mine.
So how old are all of them? Youngest to oldest?
27.
Oldest to youngest.
Oh.
It's like a
I
film.
always go backwards. In my mind, when people ask, I count down. 27, 17, 15, 11, and 10.
Wow. It's quite the spread.
That is a good Lord sense of humor right there.
Yeah.
So one of the things I admire about you the most is always on this journey of life, you always want to learn. You're never opposed to going through something. You never try to sidestep it. You go through it, and even when it's hard. So how long have you been single? And can we talk about going on Bumble?
Absolutely.
This is Christina Hudson. She is, how old are you, Christina? 35?
How old do you want me to be?
I always say 35, but I'm wrong. She's single, she's available, she's adorable, she loves the Lord, and she wants someone who makes good choices in between their bad ones and really likes Jameson.
Well, only one of us can like it. They have to have their own.
And they have to pass my test.
That's a high bar.
It really is. It is. It's,
It won't
it's
happen.
unfortunate.
It hasn't happened yet.
Huh.
I always talk to her about him. She's like,
Susan makes it very clear when she doesn't like somebody. She gives you that look like, yeah, do you think
It's
that's a
not
good idea?
that. It's not that I don't like someone because I've never met them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But when you say the things and you hear just the inflection in the voice or the description, sometimes I hear, a little hesitation, and then I go, oh, there was hesitation in that. Because she knows the answer to her own questions.
But I have a problem. I don't quit until all my questions are answered. Like, I don't listen to red flags at all. Like, I need to be hit in the face.
She does not. That's not true. She's having fun, and I live vicariously through her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, really fun. But as a single mom, how do you tackle that? What's your favorite thing to do as a single mom with your kids?
There's a lot.
I
I just
know.
love my boys. I just love my boys. You know, I love every minute with them. They drive me crazy. I lose my crap a lot. But you know what? We're all just a really good team.
Yep.
Especially after the divorce, we all just kind of came together and our lives, they just roll. I mean, we have football. I live at the football field. We all know that. My son's got lacrosse, the oldest one. So my favorite thing, you know, when we get the downtime, there's a version of me that they have named Vacation Mom. And a few times.
Is that the fun free mom?
This is the mom where there are no rules. We will ding dong ditch on a cruise ship. And you know, we don't get to not plan everything all the time or very often. It's always sports and school and projects and all that. So a few times a year I try to take them just to get away, you know, for a few days. And anything goes. Anything goes.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I don't care what you eat. I don't care when you go to bed. You don't get to be an asshole tomorrow if you are tired.
Yeah.
Like, you still have to have a good attitude.
Yeah.
But we just let loose for those times, and we have the best time when we do. And it just gives us a chance to reconnect and then come back and tackle another few months before we can do it again.
That's cool. And then, so tying that back to real estate, how has the real estate business kind of afforded you or allowed you to kind of live that lifestyle? Because it's kind of nice to have these flexibilities in this business.
Oh my God, you guys, we have the best job in the world.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the single mom thing, obviously I provide for my kids. I'm a single mom, yes, but I do have to say I have got the best of the worst case scenario on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 baby daddies. They're both great dads. If I ever needed anything, they would come alongside and we would all be there for our kids. So
But that's because of how you navigated through those relationships and turned them into the thing that they are today. So you get to get accolades for that.
Well, absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, that was the end game, but you know, divorce isn't easy on kids, and I'm just thankful that we are all in a spot to where we're all healed and we're ready for the next chapter, and we're together for the sake of our kids. You know, we can work together and coordinate, and if he can't pick them up, I pick them up. So I really do have the best of the worst case scenario.
And she heard the ready for the next chapter. So we're talking about dating. So we're looking for a nice man.
We're going to have Billy put up the bumble.com /
Well, this is the first time in my adult life that I've been single.
Yeah.
I have learned so much. I didn't date for the first year after I divorced or left my husband because I felt it was important to deal with whatever thing I got to deal with and go through whatever I got to go through. So when I'm on the other side of it, which we always like to say, it's behind me, you know? And so when I did start dating, so many different types of people. It's so interesting how many different types of men there are out there.
Give us a good dating story.
She meets all the different kinds of people.
Give us like a weird, like, what the hell was that kind of story? Do you have any of those?
You know, I've been pretty fortunate. Well, the very, very first one, this isn't the one. The very first one I went on, so like I got on Bumble, right? And I lost 3 days of my life because I'm like, oh, this is fun. And so then finally I'm like, I don't have time for this. So I messaged them all. I'm like, either we're going to meet or I'm done. So I had like 5 dates in 3 days. Bam, bam, bam. You know in 5 minutes whether or not you ever want to see anybody again.
Yeah.
So the thing with me is don't try to plan a second date on a first date. That'll stress me out.
Yeah.
But the first one I went with, he's like, I'm really nervous. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, I've been married for 14 years. This is my first date. I'm like, okay. And he goes, should I pick you up at your house? And I said, well, don't ever ask a girl to pick her up at her house because that's creepy. But yeah, you can pick me up. And he's like, I'm really nervous. I'm like, should I have a beer for you when you get there? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So I open the door, hand him a beer, shut the door, let him drink his beer.
Yeah. Did you really?
I really did. Just an icebreaker. So I open the door and he comes in and
Burps in your face.
he sits down at the table and he looks at me and he goes, I've got to tell you something.
Oh, jeez.
And I go, okay. Well, I'm going through a divorce. So I'm still married and I live with my wife.
Ooh.
So I looked at him, gave him a high five, said, we're going to go have a beer and I'm going to tell you all the shit you're about to go through. And we'll be friends. So we went, we had a couple beers, told him all the stuff he's about to go through. Really recommended he not date until it was over because that might cause additional problems that he didn't need to deal with. So that was the first one.
It's a little counseling role. That's cool.
Yeah, so that was fun. You know what? I found people's definition of single is not the same.
It's not a true thing, huh?
It's not.
So now I have this thing. Okay, are you single? Like really single? Like not separated, not going through divorce, not a pending divorce, not a contract marriage, no girlfriend on the other side of the country. Like literally single. Like there's a thing.
One time she texted me, she goes, okay, is this enough questions to ask in order to accomplish that they're truly single? And she sends me the list, and I'm like, yep, that's enough.
You should just have them fill out like a disclosure statement.
So I'm going to bring a TDS to
Yeah.
my next one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's your offer. It's
Kim-
all
I think Kim and I-
contingent.
Kim and I were talking about creating a dating SPQ.
Yep.
That's funny.
Yeah, but it's fun. What's your favorite football team?
Packers.
Oh, what do you do when football season is happening? Watch
Love
the life.
I go through withdrawals
Yeah.
right now. Thank God my kids still play.
So, gentlemen, if you're paying attention, she will hand you a beer at the door, and she loves football.
And she's
Just
really
saying.
pretty in high heels.
And you can't be married.
yeah, you cannot
There's
be
that.
married. Or in the process of the dissolution, has to be all the way over. Oh, that's
So,
fun.
is it hard to date? Because I haven't, I married my wife in 2005, so like that was before the whole dating apps and all that kind of stuff, and I just hear kind of like nightmare stories about it. Is it just difficult, or is it just everybody's so muddled up in their?
No, it's not difficult. I mean, it just is what it is. Now I just kind of laugh at it.
Mm-hmm.
The past two, oh wow, they've been a lot.
Yeah.
Like I think I could be married right now if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Like a lot. I mean, I like my life. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I tell people, here's another thing. I've got literally 10 days a month, 10 evenings a month, and I might not want to see you all 10.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
let's just hang out once or twice a week. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
That's it. But these last two, they were a lot. Like,
Ready to throw a ring on it really quick.
oh, 100%. Yeah. I was
Mhm.
just like, and then they didn't understand why. I'm like, maybe I should know your birthday before you propose.
Oh, jeez. Wow. They must have heard about the football and the beer, and so they were just ready to go. They're like, that checks my 2 boxes.
Okay, but the one thing that she does do is she goes in fast and hard.
If
Yeah.
it's
Do you know
gonna
what I
work, I want to know. If not, I'm
Yeah,
moving on.
yeah, she just goes in and it's like she press hard, lots of copies. And so she knows the answers. I really love living vicariously through her. If I was young and single, I'd probably be acting the same way.
So I give my kids my phone. They go on Bumble. I'm like, here, find your next stepdad.
Jeez.
The littles think it's so funny. And so they do. They'll go on and they'll be like, what do you think of this one, Mom? And so, I've shown them the criteria. Like, if they're certain things. Like, if they want kids someday, then, no, you're going to swipe left on them. If you're agnostic, you're going to swipe left on them.
So these are like bullet points underneath people's
Yeah,
photos and
yeah,
stuff
see?
like that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll show you.
yeah, it's really fun. I love doing this with her.
Really? It's like a game?
Oh, so there's Jay.
Okay.
And then these are his little bullet points.
Interesting. And then
Yeah.
so people just fill out like a questionnaire or something like that, and
Yeah.
then it populates
So
it?
then
And so if you like them, then you go left or right? Or is that
if I like
Tinder?
them, I go right. Here, I'll show you what happens when I match with somebody. It booms.
Huh.
And then if it booms, then if I want to, I can talk to him.
Interesting.
Okay, one of the
It's totally pure entertainment. Like, the girls and I have such a good time laughing over it.
but when she was first starting, I think we're like, okay, we're stepping out into this new box, and one of the funnest things that I come in, I go, how's it going? She's like, I'm talking to like 3 or 4 different people, and I can't remember what I said to one and what I said to the other. So I have to really decide
So
who I'm going to talk to.
I now have a personal Bumble rule. I will only text one at a time.
It's too confusing for that.
Well, and I don't have time for it.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, yeah, I give them a day to text. If they haven't asked me out by the end of the day, I'm moving on. Like, I got a kid, I got a job, like, I got things to do.
Yeah.
Come on.
Get with it. Let's go.
Get this shit done.
That's funny.
So the other thing she does that is fabulous is she actually has come alongside me in a managerial role here as our compliance director.
Yeah.
And so not only is she strong, and not only can she move file cabinets, put cubicles together, hang up stuff, she can bring home the bacon, fry it up in a pan. She does all the compliance for the office. So she's the queen of the expert of contracts. And so every time...
Kim.
Yeah, Kim Steele is, she has us all beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But it's really fun because when you're in that position, it's a stressful position. We're dealing with real estate agents, transaction coordinators, a lot of different personalities, a lot of policies, and then she has to tolerate me and what my rules are and the expectation that I have. And she does it all fabulously. I don't know what I'd do without you.
Thank you.
I really don't.
I don't know what I'd do without you. So the compliance thing just kind of happened.
Yeah.
Okay, so the compliance thing that just kind of happened when I realized the direction my life was going to go, meaning when I was decided to leave my husband, I knew that I had to figure something out, and so I had to figure something out, and I didn't really know what I was going to do, but I knew for the past 12 years that I'd worked alongside my husband in our business, and so I just literally started showing up to the office. Didn't know what I was going to do, but I just acted like I had a job to go to every day. I'd get up, get dressed, take the kids to school, and show up to the office.
Yeah.
And then Susan, talking
She was
to her,
here, thank God. I had someone to talk to.
she trained me on compliance, and then compliance led into being a TC. And that was easy. Like, work just started coming in, and it was giving me the avenue that I needed to be able to make the moves that I needed to move the direction I wanted to go in my life. And being a TC is how I came across Sean. Obviously, compliance is how I came across Sean.
Mm-hmm.
I was reviewing all the files. That next month at the meeting, here's this guy who's top producer, winning all the awards, and he's doing his own files. So I talked to him at the meeting. That was probably one of the hardest sentences I've ever said, because back then, before I was, I am who I am now, I was a little timid, a little shy, didn't have a whole lot of confidence in talking to Sean McCann.
It's kind of a big deal.
He is a big deal.
Yeah.
And I asked him, what are you doing your own files for? And he said, well, I don't really like change. I'm like, well, you decide you want somebody to do your files, I'd be happy to help. A couple days later, he called me and started TCing his files, and then he started talking about getting a buyer's agent. I'm like, hey, well, that sounds like something I can do. Obviously, I was an agent already. I'd done probably 10 deals the year before, but it was all sphere of influence. I'd never gone out there and marketed or cold called or any of that kind of stuff. And he came alongside and sat there and role played with me until I wanted to cry. Like, literally, I wanted to throw up. I hated making calls. But he did. We just role played and role played and role played. He is a man that just leads from a position of compassion and grace and positive motivation, accountability, but in such a way that you're going to feel horrible if you disappoint him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was a point in my life where literally, we have those key moments where, like, your life just turns upside down.
Yeah.
Well, I'd left my husband, and then my dad died. I had 5 deals in escrow. And I had to go out to Missouri and take care of that. I had just moved out of my house into my condo. And my world was being recreated.
Yeah.
It was being recreated. And I won't ever forget that he was talking to me, and he's like, Christina, do what you got to do to get back to who you are, and let me know what I can do to help you. And at that point, I don't have a whole lot of positive male influences in my life at all. My brother, who's amazing, couldn't live my life without him. But outside of that, that's it. And he has really become kind of a beacon of, there are the good ones out there.
Yeah.
He just the love for his family and his wife. And I always tell him and Christina, I want to be like you guys when I grow up. And I think they're about 6 years younger than I am.
They are a beautiful couple, though.
They are.
They really do.
And they just got it right. They're so darn cute. And their kids, I want to be like them when I grow up.
And it's so interesting when, I'm kind of replaying the whole story in my mind about going way back to the short sale and how that world fell apart for you and stuff. And then it's interesting, all these crumbling moments start to become the building blocks and the foundation for your next chapter.
100%.
Yeah.
But they started when she was little.
Well, so here's the thing. My life's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I tell my story and people look at me like, you're still alive. But I'll tell you this, I would not change a thing even if I could. It has not been rainbows and butterflies, but it is my story, and I am proud of every moment of it.
Do tell.
Well, I'll just give you bullet points. I like bullet points.
Okay.
Mom and dad divorced when I was little. There was a lot of domestic violence, a lot of drugs in my upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
Where were you born?
I was born in Anaheim, and we moved out here in '91. I don't remember a whole lot of traumatic things as a child. It was fine. When we moved out here, that's when things kind of got real, and drugs and domestic violence were alive and well in my household, to the point to where it was just a lot. It was a lot to handle. So I moved out when I was 12, and I've been on my own ever since.
By yourself?
Well, I have 3 amazing ladies that have come alongside. I had great friends, and 2 of them I lived with for a period of time until I was 15 and a half. At that point, I rented a room, I had a job. So I've been working since I was 13. Like, when you get the Social Security things and it tells you the year that you started working? I started working when I was 13.
Wow.
Like, paying taxes, working when I was 13. Back then you could do that. I remember making $4.25 an hour.
Wow.
I had a friend who, they had a doctor's office, and I'd do their billing. And by billing, I mean I'd fold papers and stuff, envelopes. Back then you actually had to mail them off. So I did that until I was 15 and a half and got a work permit, and then I got to work at a movie theater and then became a waitress. So yes, I've been officially on my own, renting a room and stuff since 15. But it's been amazing. I got to graduate early. I graduated at 16 so I could work, and I worked, and I was a waitress, and then I lived with my brother for a minute, and I had a dog, my Toby.
Aww.
My Toby. I brought a puppy home one day, and my brother's like, do you realize what a responsibility they are? I'm like, yeah. So my brother got married, so I had to find a new place to live. And I was trying to find a place to rent. I wasn't going to go to an apartment because now I had my 120-pound dog. And the reason I lived with my brother, I should back up because this is important. Mom and stepdad got divorced. Mom moved to Missouri. Stepdad moved to Anza. And they had this house that they were about to lose. It was like $10,000, back taxes, 4 months behind mortgage. My brother was 18 at the time. So my mom signed it over to my brother. And he's like, well, you want to move in and we can get it out of water? I'm like, sure. So I moved in, and we did. We paid everything back, got it up and going. He refinanced it in his name. So that's how I ended up living with him. And then when he got married, or was going to get married, I needed a place to live. And I tried to rent a place. But at that time, I'm 18, 19 years old, single woman. I was making good money. I worked 7 days a week. And but nobody'd rent me a place. So I'm like, fine, I'll just buy one. So at 19, I bought my own house so my dog would have a backyard.
Wow.
Kind of the bullet points in my story. But, it's just it's just me. But it's not a bad thing. My life's great. And I wouldn't change any of it if I could.
Well, I get a lot of strength from that story. I mean, because in those type of situations that you described of childhood and things like that, where there's that kind of a dynamic to it, that breaks a lot of people. And it seems like it made you.
Well, you can either sink or swim, and sinking's never an option.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah,
I always tell
fighter
my
spirit.
kids it's not going to be easy, but it'll be worth it. I never have a plan, but it always works out.
That's not the best kind.
Even if we're here doing the science project the night before it's due.
But it and my brother's the same way. He's got the same drive, the same motivation, and I believe that what you go through in life, you take things from it, and we want something different. We want a different life for our kids, and we're gonna, and I believe everybody does the best they can with what they know.
Sure.
And I believe my parents did that, and it's fine. It's all.
Yeah.
That's
But your
impressive.
kids are really lucky. They have a great mom and a
My
great
kids
life.
have no idea. I tell them my stories. Like, okay, my phone number was the payphone at the donut store in Old Town Marietta because I didn't have a phone.
So if somebody needed to call you, they would call the
And I'd
donut
have
shop?
to schedule a time, and they'd call the payphone. I think it was 698-1333.
Oh my
think that-
gosh.
Back then when they had payphones. Like, here's another one. I was taught that the water company comes and shuts off the water and we're not home. You take this and you go out there and you turn it back on.
I was taught that too. I know how to do that. Yep.
Yeah, it was colorful. It was colorful.
That's incredible.
Yeah. She's not just surviving anymore though, she's thriving. And her
Yeah.
kids have a thriving childhood now.
Absolutely.
And they have a productive, healthy mom. And so I love your story. Yeah, I love your story.
Thank you.
It's a pretty story, and you're pretty.
That's
She's
incredible.
35 and she's single, and we're looking for a Packers fan.
She'll give you a beer at the door.
But don't be too clingy, because that'll be all bad too.
No,
She only
yeah.
wants to see you like once or twice a week.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm usually the guy.
Yeah.
Give her time to work, for crying out loud. Give her time to work. Oh.
But seriously, real estate, we really do have the best job in the world.
Yeah.
Like, it allows me the freedom and flexibility to take care of my kids. It allowed me the freedom and flexibility. The best thing about it is your success and your demise relies strictly on you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you blame anybody else, like, you need to look in the mirror.
Yeah.
And that to me is my most favorite thing. And even everybody's like, well, what are you gonna do when the market crashes? You know what I tell them? There's still gonna be work. You just gotta work harder for it. It's like when our AC company, when the market crashed in like 2008, we were doing hundreds and hundreds of homes out in the desert. And it's like we clocked out on Friday, Monday, we had no contracts. It was insane. So you have to find the work. And at that time, restaurants and churches were thriving. It was very interesting.
Huh.
So we switched gears from track residential to commercial because that's where the work is. And I believe that for those who work hard, I mean, it's always going to be there. You just have to work harder for it and find the next niche.
Yeah, because there's always buyers or sellers. It's just which one's side are we on?
Right.
You still need the other side. Okay, so what's your favorite thing in working with buyers?
Oh, I love buyers. I love buyers. I'm so good with people. I obviously the fun ones.
Well,
that's
you
my favorite.
genuinely like people. She'll tell me some stories, and I'm like, let it go. And she's like, no, I can fix it. I can save it.
I love working with buyers. I love hearing their stories. I love finding how they need me to
Yeah.
come alongside them and help them navigate through their journey.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part. I mean, I love listings also. I get a lot of listings from referrals and open houses. And same thing, everybody's got a story, and I just love learning people's stories.
That's awesome.
I think there's something really cool to learn from everybody.
Yeah.
And she learns something new in every transaction, too.
Absolutely.
Like, how to find a VIN number.
I became the manufactured home expert. Well, and I think, too, in our job, the ability to be able to problem solve is key. Because no transaction is a cookie cutter transaction, right?
Yeah.
Like, you have to be able to think outside the box and problem solve and not just take no for an answer.
Yep.
That's why I say I have a problem until all my questions are answered. I don't quit. Dating, I should not do that.
You're qualifying the lead.
Yeah, I'm qualifying the lead. But it's true in our industry. And sometimes it becomes a little frustrating with people on the other side where it's just like, okay, well, let's just figure this out. Let's make it work. But that's a fun part about our job, too.
Yeah.
We get to do that, and we get to use our brains. And I think it's the ones that do that really stand out. And we've got such a great group of them in this office.
Yeah, we do.
We really do.
And I think what you're hitting on right there is that being resourceful and understanding your story and that big picture of all of it, you had to be resourceful. Like using a payphone at the donut shop, like you had to be resourceful.
Yeah.
And so when you bring that element into the real estate transactional world, where it's always problems or situations and things like that where you got to creatively think. You've been doing that since you're 12 years old, and that's incredible.
Yeah.
You know, you're quite the success story. I'm glad we had her on today.
Thank you.
I know, me too. I think that one of those skills or gifts and talents, maybe it's just a gift, you are really good at being everyone's friend. Like, we have somebody new come
That's
into the office.
codependency at its finest, I've learned.
A new agent comes in. Christina's out having dinner with them. She knows
talking
everything
about
going
Bob
on.
Cadez right now.
She's babysitting their children. I'm like,
I
oh
will
my
babysit
God.
everybody's kids.
Yeah.
I tell my married friends that's my contribution to make sure you stay married.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I will-
What
I
are
will
you doing
babysit
this
the
weekend?
kids. I have my boys this weekend.
Okay, I have boys this weekend.
Yep.
We're going to watch Supercross on Saturday night, and then we're going to pole position.
Oh, fun.
Do you
Count
wanna
me
come
in.
with us?
Yes.
Okay.
The kids will love that.
Okay.
So one thing I want to kind of touch on, but I don't know how you're going to incorporate it. There's one of the things I was thinking.
It's
and
going to be right here, right now.
It's totally off
It'll
subject.
be
but-
incorporated now.
Something happened, and I don't know that you should air this part. You're not going to air the whole thing, right?
Sure we are.
Uncut?
Yeah.
Oh. Well,
Roll with it.
we had and this goes back to, like, I can't stand up in front of people and talk. You had the panel out there with all the buyer's agents.
Uh-huh.
And I had so much I wanted to say, but I didn't because it was in front of a group of people. But I feel like there's something to be said. I don't like the negative rap that teams have. I absolutely, if you don't see the value in being on a team, then go be on yourself. Like, go be by yourself.
Yeah.
I absolutely love being on a team. I love the fact that I just get to be an agent.
Yeah.
You know, I'm capable of doing all the things by myself if I wanted to. That's just not how I function.
Yeah.
But I think that there's such a value in being able to show up, and I just get to be an agent. Sean takes care of the systems and the marketing and everything else that goes along with it. And I think it's important that if people are going to consider being on a team, that they see that value, because there really is value in it. I don't have to. I show up, and I'm a real estate agent.
Yeah.
You know, I have somebody there to problem solve with me all the time.
Yeah.
I have somebody there to bounce ideas off. And so when people complain about, like, the splits and I don't have the hot leads, I mean, just because you're on a team doesn't mean, like, here's a lead.
Yeah.
You have to self-generate. You have to sell. You're still a product. You have to get out there and sell yourself and get in front of people. They give you the means to do it at probably greater volume than what you'd have on your own. But I think there's something to be said about the value of a team. And it just frustrates me when people complain about, like, the splits. And, well, if you don't want the splits, then go get an office and do your marketing and do that.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important people know that.
Well, I think that should definitely be included in the video because, you know, and that's what's beautiful about this office is that you could be a solo agent or you can work on a team, and not just a team, but a mega team.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's the two-man kind of teams, there's the multiple people, and then there's, you know, the mega teams and the one-man show kind of
Well,
thing.
and if you don't find the value in it, then you have to go out and you got to try it yourself first.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I think in doing that, then you'll find the value.
Yep.
Because I did it myself, and it was only sphere of influence, and it was onesie twosies.
Yep.
Am I capable of getting out there and creating a team and doing it myself? Yeah, I'm capable. Do I want to? Heck no.
Yeah.
I just want to be an agent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the teams give us the ability to do that for those who it works for.
And I think it makes a great big office small.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's great because then you have your little tribe.
It's important.
Yeah, I love that part.
Well, thank you for being part of this tribe. Any final thoughts you'd like to share, Susan? I know you got a lot. This is your favorite part.
This is where I say everything that I ever thought about you. No, not really.
Actually, yeah, really.
Bring it. Bring it.
What's in that cup?
Water.
Oh.
I know nobody at home believes that, but it's true.
First of all, you did it. You sat here and you made
One
it through
step
the
closer
video.
to my personal goal.
That's right. And mine is the same as Renee's, is just to look good naked. There was a time, but it's just not anymore.
Oh, Susan, I love you.
I don't know. You're the person sitting in this chair is the person that I watched go through all of those events. And you look back and you see growth and change and maturity, and I see grace and excellence and love. And it's been an honor to just be walking with you through those parts of the seasons of your life. And I do live vicariously through you with your Bumble app, but I really couldn't have done anything that I've done even physically without you. And spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, You're really my dearest friend, and I'm so thankful for you, and I'm so glad you're strong. But you're strong on the inside and the outside, and you make me a better person and a better version of myself, and you make me want to be better. So thank you for helping me professionally, privately, and being my dear friend.
Well, I'm thankful that all that you've given to me, you feel the same thing.
I just don't even feel like I've given anything to you. I feel like you've given it all to me selflessly. And that's what you do with your clients too. And so congratulations on stepping into this career and making it your own and being a success. You should be really, really proud of yourself.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You've come through a lot. You survived, and now you're thriving. And it's been awesome to walk alongside you. And we've had some great conversations in this brokerage. And but I never really got to hear your full story. So thank you for sharing that. You did great underneath the spotlights here at Signature Studio. And that's it for this episode of the Signature Studio Spotlight Series with the ball guy in the red tie, Miss Susan Ebert, and the strong, the dynamic, the wonderful Christina Hudson. That's it. See you in escrow. Bye.
Bye.